everybody, it's B. I know I haven't posted in a really long time. My excuse for that, I got a tattoo apprenticeship. This video is just gonna be me kind of talking about how that went. So, my apprenticeship lasted about 6 months. That's average for the shop that I apprenticed at. I know that's not average for every shop. I know that could sound like a really short amount of time, but that's just how my shop does things. That's how they've been doing things for 10 years. So that's how long my apprenticeship was. For about a month and a half, I didn't have any days off. I worked 7 days a week, 9, 10, sometimes 11-hour days. Which is, it's a lot. These are, speaking of a lot, whatever, I'm not changing. And I shouldn't complain. Getting an apprenticeship is an amazing opportunity, for sure. I am so beyond grateful for it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't really hard. And it should be hard, that's the nature of it. Here's kind of how my day would go for most of these 6 months. Get there, you're the first one there, open up, turn off the alarm, whatever, take out all the garbages, clean the bathrooms, Windex everything, heavy wipe everything, make sure everyone's stocked. But yeah, I would clean the whole shop top to bottom, before anyone got there, really, doing the dishes. At night, I would sweep and mop. I would be the last one there at night, lock up, leave, come back, do it all again. Which isn't, that's not the craziest thing I've ever heard. The longer it went on, sort of the easier and the harder that it got. Easier because, you get used to it. After about a month and a half, I got days off. I got 2 days off. I still have 2 days off a week. But it gets harder also because, you get more responsibilities as it goes on. You start, at least for me, again, not every apprenticeship is the same. In fact, I doubt any 2 apprenticeships, even at my own shop, will go exactly the same. Everyone has a different experience. But this is just how mine went. I would start doing drawings for my mentor, the shop owner. I would start drawing for his appointments for him, doing drawing assignments that he asked me to do, working on my penmanship, my lettering. I had to work on drawing Japanese stuff. So, you're doing all these things, you're drawing for appointments, lunch runs and stuff, while also making sure the shop stays clean all day. I started tattooing at about the 4-month mark, sort of. I believe it was 4 months is when I started, well, no, let me back up. I got days off about a month and a half in. 2 months in, so a few weeks after that, I started learning to set up machines, set up stations, and clean stations. So I started doing that before I ever really learned how to tattoo, how to use a machine, use my hands, ink in the skin, I did that for 2 months, cleaning everyone at the shop station pretty much, and then I got to start tattooing. I went and I set up a station, I got an orange, and I tattooed an orange, and I did that for a little while. When I looked ready, according to my mentor, when it seemed like time, we were good to go, I tattooed myself. I tattooed myself 3 times in my apprenticeship. At least at our shop, the way that apprentices do it, the first human skin that you tattoo is your own. If I really didn't want to, I wouldn't have had to, but I didn't want to look like a wimp, and I wanted to be part of the club, and so I tattooed myself. I tattooed some friends of the owner, I tattooed some of my friends, I tattooed my sister, and then I started getting let loose on clients. And it came really, really fast. I priced things like apprentice rates for a while, and I didn't make all the money off of it, the way that, at least at our shop, the way it works is, you say a tattoo was $100, you pay your artist, and then they get a cut of that, and then a cut of that goes to the shop, or the shop owner. You're kind of paying for your seat in the shop, essentially. It's we don't get paid, we pay to work out of that shop, under your owner's business license. Again, that's just, I don't know how other shops do it, that's at least how ours work. I'm sure most shops in Illinois probably do it that way. unless you're like a private studio. But I made a lower percentage. The cut that I got was lower than the fully fledged tattoo artists for a while. But that was still amazing. Up until that point, I hadn't been making any money. I would make tips sometimes from cleaning stations for people, but then I started making real money and it was like, whoa. And then like a couple months later, my mentor was like, you get a raise. And I was like, wow. So it's really cool. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Yes, it was really hard. Yes, it was like, you know, like you feel like an idiot when you're an apprentice. It's so, I'm telling the apprentices that we have now, I'm not an apprentice anymore. I'm a junior tattooer at our shop. But the apprentices that we have now, like I'm reassuring them, like, it's really normal to feel like an idiot. I felt during my apprenticeship like the dumbest I had ever felt. I was really depressed, especially when I didn't have days off, because I didn't have like a mental break. I didn't have like, I wasn't working for a weekend, you know, like I didn't have any foreseeable break in the future. And then I started getting days off and it was like everything changed. Like, and you know, I've been there like 9 months, maybe 8 months, which isn't a super long time. But I do really feel like part of the family there now. Like, we're all, like, good buddies. You know, I'm allowed to start making appointments. Before it was, like, exclusively walk-ins. So, you know, it's been really cool. Some advice I'd give to people, and again, every apprenticeship is different, every shop is different, so I don't know how much this really can apply to everybody in every situation. It probably might only help, like, 1 or 2 people. But, you know, you shut up, you listen. Listen. Don't say, yeah, I got it. Like, just listen, shut up, do what people tell you to do. And you will learn and you will get better without even, like, realizing it at first, which is super cool. In terms of building a portfolio, you know, draw things that you like to draw things that you're really good at. Practice drawing things that you are bad at and get really good and then put that in your portfolio. Have a really good range of things so that, like, no matter what that shop is looking for, you have a better chance, you know? I noticed in the several months that I have not posted anything that my portfolio video kind of blew up a little bit, which is super cool. I'm glad I was able to help some people, but I did get some questions in the comments that I kind of want to go through. How long did it take you to put your portfolio together? So I worked on it on and off for, like, honestly a few years. I knew I wanted to get an apprenticeship since I was 14. When I was 20, about to be 21, is when I finally went to go and get one, to go talk to shops. I was really lucky that I got one at the second shop that I talked to. I know a lot of people don't experience the same amount of good fortune. But if someone tells you no, if you go into a shop and they tell you no, ask why in a nice way. Be like, okay, totally fine. Could you tell me what I should work on? Could you tell me what I should improve? If they don't have time, like, if they're really busy, like, don't bug them. But if they are able to, like, sit and talk with you, listen to what they have to say. When I was working on it, like, I asked my friends, like, what they would want to get as tattoos, and I would draw it and design it for them to my best of my abilities. I go through it now, and knowing what I know now after learning in my apprenticeship for 6 months, a lot of the stuff that I have in there would not make a good tattoo. It's a pretty good drawing, but to go and tattoo it would be, like, a whole other thing. My phone died. Sorry. Anyway, what was I saying? Not liking old art is just kind of the nature of being an artist. So don't let that stress you out. If you feel like you're at the same place you were, like, a year ago, you should probably stop and think, like, if you're pushing yourself enough. So, you know, draw and draw and draw and draw every day. Draw what you're bad at, draw what you're good at, and put them in a portfolio. Let's see. Okay. Somebody asked if I glued or taped them onto the black paper inserts. I just tape them, just like washi tape or painter's tape that wouldn't mess up the pictures and drawings too much. And so I could move them around easily if I needed to. This isn't a question, but someone asked, I do black and gray. I hope not having color pieces in my portfolio doesn't hurt my chances. It depends on where you're going. I'm sure a lot of shops wouldn't care. I'm sure a lot of shops really will care. I know for my shop in particular, they're looking for people who are well-rounded. You can have specialties and you can have things that you really like, but like when you first start tattooing, and like I'm still very much in this where I'm pretty much exclusively doing walk-ins, which means I can't only do black and gray, even though like I also really like doing black and gray, but that is not the nature of my job. I tattoo whatever people want. For my shop, when the owner is looking for people to apprentice, they're looking for people who can kind of do it all to a point, but also like have some specialties. You obviously, like when you get further on in your career, you don't have to do everything. Like you can keep doing just walk-ins for the rest of your life if that's what you love doing. When you get like 5-10 years down the line, you can like just be like, I'm only taking appointments and I'm only doing peonies for the rest of my life because that's what I want to do, and I earned my I earned my status as a, like as a senior tattooer, you know, and so that's what I'm gonna do, and that's how I'm gonna make my money, and that's totally cool. I feel like to a certain point you kind of have to work to that point, depending on the shop that you work in. Like if you apprenticed at a private studio and you get to exclusively make appointments for what you want to do, like I don't know, I'm sure there's shops that are like that. Just, you know, the best of luck to you. Let's see. Someone was asking about the portfolio, like the physical book that I was using. I got it as a gift, but I think I found one similar, and I will link it somewhere below. Hopefully that will work for you if you're still looking for one. I know it's been like 9 months. And then finally someone said, I want to be a tattoo artist, but I'm just scared I'm not good enough. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to, you know, not be super happy with your art. Just keep working at it until you get to a point. Like, I'm almost never happy with my drawings, which is what causes me to keep always, you know, pushing myself. Don't look down on yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people. You know, just keep practicing. Keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, like, be aware of your skills without being cocky, and on the flip side, without being self-depreciating. And, you know, build a portfolio, go get an apprenticeship. I'm sure you can do it. I'm sure you'll be fine. I think that was everything I wanted to say. I probably forgot some things. Sorry for the long absence. I've been very busy tattooing. Like I said, I'm not an apprentice anymore. I'm a junior tattooer. So, you know, a lot's happened. I graduated. I moved out. This is my apartment, my first apartment. So I'm not at my parents' house anymore. I was during my apprenticeship because I wasn't making any money. Oh, there's a piece of advice. You're most likely not going to be making any money. So, you know, have a savings or something, or have somewhere to live. Like, I lived with my parents, and I had a savings to buy all my equipment when the time came for it. You know, I hope that helps some people. I hope that someone got something out of this, and that it was a good follow-up to my last one. I don't know how often I'll be posting. I'd like to post more. I think it's fun. But, you know. So thanks so much for watching, you guys. See ya when I see ya.